All right. So last week you covered most of what a source summary is. It was in hopes to make this week a little bit easier in the sense that instead of spending, an entire, hour and a half or however long, trying to figure out what a source summary is, you can actually do the source summary. Do you see how that works? Last week was the outline. Outlines are pretty easy. Let's be honest, I didn't say this last week, but I'm pretty positive y'all were just going to chat GPT it anyway. That's why I paused. So anyway, I already knew you were going to do that. I really would have preferred you not to. It is what it is. I recognize sometimes we just use the tools that we have. Okay. Again, I got my own moral dilemma about ChatGPT and AI, but it is what it is. Okay. So it is okay if you use ChatGPT and AI to get your outline. But for source summary, y'all ain't going to work that way. It doesn't work because it takes too much manpower. So that being the case, please take a look at last week's information on the source summary. Go back to the lecture notes, read everything. Again, I'm very, very particular about citations. In fact, let me do something really quick since I got you here. Go back to one bite at a time. That would have been week 14. Take a look at that. So for source summaries, ultimately what I want you to do is at the top of the page, I want you to put what your research question is. Like there's a template I need you to follow. Follow the template for the source summary. That's what I want you to do. Okay? Your name up in the right-hand corner. This is MLA format. Your name up in the corner, your last name with the page number. You use insert to do that, insert page number, and you type in your last name before the page number. That's how you're going to do that, okay? And then when you go through and you type up, let me get in here. Give me 1 second. Forgive me. There it is, source summaries. You're going to see a link that gives you a walkthrough for the source summary. I'm not going to do it here. It is long, but it'll help you, show you exactly what I'm looking for. Take a look at the actual template and the example. So please, that is the homework for you. If you have not done that already and you thought you were going to blow it off, I need you to do that now. The source summary is 150 points. I lied. It's 105 points. It is very big. And it is very big because it's a very big part of your paper. It is your research. The research is important. You're not writing a paper and then just throwing in, I don't know, maybe I'll just put this in there. You're doing the research, then you're writing the paper. Notice the difference, okay? So you're doing your outline. You're pointing out, like, where in my outline do I need research? Well, I need to research this. I need to research that. I need to research this, right? So you're already aware of the things you need to research. Once you start researching that, then you're going to recognize, okay, I can add this to my paper. I will add this in there, right? The research comes before you write your paper. You don't write a paper and then throw shit in there. It doesn't work like that. That's not how we do it, okay? All right, so take a look at the template, all right? Then go ahead and look at the examples of what that looks like. The examples are more about the formatting, okay? A little bit more about the formatting than actually what they write about. What I want you to pay attention to when we talk about the source summary is in the template it says like source 1, source 2, source 3. Delete that. That's not what I want. Look at the actual examples. You'll see it doesn't do that. The source is going to be what you will use for your works cited page if you use that research in your paper. So what I'm doing here is I'm prepping you for your works cited page. All I want in your works cited page is just the source, not the summary. I don't want that. I don't want the summary. I just want the source, but we'll talk about that later. So when you're doing your source summary, again, you're going to have your topic question at the top. You're going to have your name over here, and then, well, I can't tell. Right-hand corner is going to be your name, and then in the left-hand corner, you're going to have your last name with the page number. Okay, so right, left. That is correct. Okay. Then you're going to have each individual source, and you're going to have 3 different sources. And so first you're going to put your first source, right? And you're going to cite it in MLA format. Take a look at the examples. It's going to show you what that looks like. Take a look again at the notes from the lecture notes from last week. It's going to show you as well, okay? Now, when you cite your source, it is going to be MLA format with a hanging indentation. You need to have that hanging indentation in there, okay? Then, once you've cited your source underneath, the goal here, the reason why I have you do this is I want you to summarize what is the source talking about? What is it saying? What's the whole, tell me what that source is about, right? You need to understand what it is in order to use it. So yeah, tell me what it is. Then you're going to tell me why you're using it. Okay? The goal here is for you to say, I have this source. It says this, and I'm using it because that. Okay? I need you to show me your understanding of the research. You're going to do that 3 times, 3 different sources. These sources for source summary number 1, these sources can only be through Butte College's library, their research library. There's a link. I got a link in there. I forget what it's called, but it's Butte College's actual resource library. JSTOR would be your guy. Okay, you're going to want to do JSTOR for that. EBSCO's okay. It's not my favorite, but go back and take a look at how do I find a source through MLA formatting. Okay, that's what I want you to look at. And once you go there, it's going to show you how you are going to do research. I'm not going to do it in this whole video because I trust that you are going to go back and take a look at those. I need the sources to be from JSTOR. Okay, all right, there you go. Okay. That's what I'm going to be looking for. There's sometimes, again, EBSCO. I've seen EBSCO used. But if you're trying to, in source summary number 1, if you're pulling from like YouTube or Variety or, you know, Newsweek or whatever, I don't want those. Those are not scholarly articles. Remember that. Remember we did the scholarly articles versus the pop culture ones. I don't want the pop culture sources for source summary number 1. I don't. I want research from Butte College's website, their library, okay? Got to clarify that. My circle light's flashing. I'm like, oh my God, if I end up with a seizure, you've got video of it. Anywho, so again, source summary number 1, your very first source summary needs to be scholarly articles. Cannot say that enough, okay? When we get to source summary number 2, I'm going to open it up to whatever's, okay? But currently, I want you to do the actual research, okay, with scholarly articles. All right, say it with me again, scholarly articles. All right, for source summary number 1. That is what I am looking for there. Again, please take a look at the source summary template. Take a look at the examples of what I'm looking for. What I also do is when it says, what is a source summary? Take a look at that link. It gives you everything. It guides you, maybe too much. I don't know. It gives you everything you could possibly need and what it is that I am looking for. Okay. I don't need to reiterate it here. Y'all know how to read because you've proven yourselves. But if you have questions, please reach out and let me know. It's all right there. Okay. Again, make sure you have everything in MLA format and make sure that you cite in MLA format as well. And yeah. Oh, and hanging indentions. I'll get you on that. When I first grade your source summary, it might be brutal. It might be like, oh my God, holy cow. I do that for a reason because I'm looking for your attention to detail. When you are researching, when you are looking this stuff up, when you are using these sources, you need to pay attention to the details. It matters. Otherwise, it's plagiarism. All right. And I also, again, will check your sources. I know. And I would suggest using a quote from the source that you are going to use or you think you might use or whatever in your summary. And the reason why I do that is because then you can access it later. I know I'm helping you out so much. If you do the work now, if you do that front load, the heavy load now, when you go to write your paper, you just have to come back to and go, oh, that's right, it was in my source summary. I was going to use that. Oh, it's in my source summary. I'm going to use that. See, I'm having you do the research now, so when you're writing your paper, it's a lot easier. You will continue to have research as you're writing your paper. I know that. But that's why we do source summary number 1, because we're going to do 2. We do source summary number 1 is that heavy research. You got to look it all up. That's why I don't have a lot going on this week except this assignment, so that you spend more time on the assignment than anything else. And then 2, when your source summary number 2 is you filling in the gaps of things that you're missing. Because we're going to have source summary number 2 We're going to have your rough draft, and then we're going to have, I'm sorry, source summary number 1, your rough draft, and then source summary number 2, then your final draft. The goal is doing the research, writing the paper, recognizing where, and it's going to be a rough draft paper. You know how I feel about rough drafts. It's not the final, it's the rough draft. It's your general idea. It's like, help me out. What am I doing here? Where do I have more research to find? Your peers are going to give you that information. Then you're going to have your source summary number 2, which fills the gaps. And then you write your final paper. Right? Do you see? It's like, yes, it's supposed to be, the goal here is to give you all the pieces. So when you get to the end, you'll be like, that wasn't as hard as I thought. Exactly. All right. Okay. That's pretty much it. So again, source summary, I'm very particular on. Message me if you have questions. I have complete and utter faith in you. I will see you on the other side. Oh, and then after this, I'm going to have a few videos that are going to include, what is it called? Citing of sources and why it's important, all that good stuff. Things that they say better than me. All right. All right. See you on the other end. Bye.